Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, making predictions the day before a general election is a mugs game, but here on the Daily Politics, we're well known for our mugs. And we've got a couple on today. So let's give it a go. We'll come to the opinion polls in a moment, but first let's see what wisdom, I put the word in quotes, the betting markets have to offer. Jessica Bridge is from Ladbroke. She's outside Parliament. So what do the bookies think, Jessica?
Good afternoon, Andrew. Well, obviously, after 7 long weeks of campaigning, we're in the final straight, and the big question is, are the Tories going to fall at the final hurdle? They're 1 to 10 favourites for most seats tomorrow, but pretty much a month ago to the day, they'd have been as short as 1 to 50, but since then, the polls have turned. Momentum has thoroughly been with Jeremy Corbyn and the Red team. So Labour's now in there at 6 to 1. Actually, last night in a Ladbroke shop in Vauxhall, a customer placed a bet of £1,000 at 1,000 to 1 on the Greens winning most seats. So genuinely good luck to that chap, because I wasn't aware that pigs could fly. But as I say, the Tories, they're still the favourites here. They're the favourites for most votes. That's come in now into 1 to 6. Again, in the majority betting at 2 to 9. But the big move in the last few days, punters are thinking that there's going to be a hung parliament. That's now just a 9 to 2 shot for no overall majority. Labour are in there at 12 to 1. Still a very big price to get that majority, get over the line. But PM on 1st of July, if there is that hung parliament, punters still think Theresa May could be in there, but is she going to be in a better position than she was at the start of April before she called this snap election? So we still think she's the favourite, a worthy favourite. Corbyn, over 70% of bets in this market have been for him, so that's why his price is so short at 7 to 2. But a lot of punters are thinking May, she might have to stand down now that she's called this, and they might win not as convincingly as they thought they would 7 weeks ago. So Amber Rudd, she's come in all the way from 200 to 1 after her performances in the debates over the last few weeks. Boris Johnson, someone had £2,000 on him in a shop in Chelsea a few weeks ago at 100 to 1. I personally can't really see that happening. I think you need someone a little more strong and stable, you could say. Hammond is in there as well at 50 to 1, but it's all going towards the Tories. As we get into the final 24 hours, the big hard money is coming out. But it's worth noting, we do have a deja vu scenario here, what we had with Brexit and with the US election, in that there's more money going on the favourites, but there's more individual wages going on the outsiders, and that's Labour. So time will tell tomorrow who's right. The bookies, the pollsters, the statisticians, the media, who knows? But we reckon it's the Tories.
One question here. I see that you've got odds of 2 to 9 for a Conservative majority, which by my ungambling ways suggests you need to put £9 on to win £2 on that.
Correct.
But what are the odds for a Tory majority north of 80, which of course was the original hope of calling this election?
Yes, so at the moment our line is set at 360, so that's 5 to 6 each of 2, and our stats at the moment would suggest that Theresa May will get a Tory majority of 70, but that was a high of 150 at the start of the campaign, so those odds have really come in right now. So our line at the moment is a Tory in their seats at 360.
All right, interesting. If that's the case, there'll be some people who won't be too happy. Now, that's the bookies' view, but what of the opinion polls? No laughing at the back. One firm, Survation, said on Monday it believed the Conservative lead over Labour's down to just 1 point. Other polling firms still think the Tories are as much as 12 points ahead. So we're joined now by Damien Lyons-Lowe from Survation and Deborah Mattison from Britain Thinks. Welcome to you both. Now, your latest poll predicts a 1 point lead for the Conservatives, and right, some of us remember in the start of this campaign in some polls it was over 20 points. 1 point would mean a hung parliament and the Tories losing the majority, wouldn't it?
It would mean using our most recent Scotland figures from the Sunday Post, plugging those into a Scotland predictor and plugging doing a simple national swing and a few tweaks, nothing too special. It would mean there would be a no overall majority situation with at least the requirement for support from the DUP, and perhaps not even that.
So the answer is yes.
That's a yes.
Yeah, that's a yes.
I was giving you
hung parliament.
I was giving you my working. So yes, hung parliament.
Well, we got there in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm the,
You know, I was beginning to lose the will to live.
I'm a massive outlier here. I'm going to be the most wrong or the most right. So
Yeah.
you know, I think showing my
As they
working-
say in Glasgow, is your jacket hanging by a sugary peg on this?
That's right. That's right. Okay. So
Translations will follow.
We can guess.
Now-
We can guess.
Let me, Deborah Madsen, do you agree with this? Is this Survation poll an outlier or in the mainstream?
It's an outlier, and you know, in a word, no, I don't think. No, I don't think so. I'm
Because?
not feeling that. I think that. I think that what Survation has done is interesting, and he, you know, shows his workings on his website. But I think that there is a big presumption about turnout, about young people. I think there is a danger that his sample includes too many voters who are highly engaged in politics. Also, the fieldwork. I think this is. Am I right? It was before Saturday night. I think things have changed a little bit there. So
Friday and Saturday.
Have you got another one coming out?
We do. Yes, we do.
When? When's that coming out?
Around about what day is today? Is it Wednesday?
Have I even got to tell you what day it is?
It's a really large sample
gotta be
poll.
today.
It's going to be about, but it's complicated and it's
When's
Wednesday.
it coming out?
About 11 o'clock or so.
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
Oh, good. I'm glad we got there too.
I think-
What are
well,
you
maybe that will
assuming
reflect
on the
that.
1%?
There's a really-
On the 1%, what turnout among younger people are you assuming?
Well, in the post that's on Survation.com, we walked through. You can give a 2015 assumption of turnout,
Yeah.
and the results don't really change.
Ah.
So you can use a 2015 assumption of turnout that makes 2 points difference. You can use this is by age, by micro age category. You can use, if you like, a EU referendum turnout by age
Because
turnout.
young people turnout in the referendum went up a lot.
It did. It went from 43 to 60 amongst 18.
But I think in
Still very
2015
low
the
compared with
turnout
older
was about
voters.
46% among the 18 to 24-year-olds.
It was 43%.
43 among them.
Now,
right.
what
so
I-
what are you assuming it will be this time?
I wrote that article and I let people do whatever they want to do because it doesn't change our figures.
Okay.
Because the way that it's all a bit it's okay. I've been talking about this for days ad infinitum working through this. Okay, we all have the same numbers on a all the pollsters have the same numbers except their turnout weights are jamming up.
All right,
their
let me bring
Conservative
Deborah. What do you
figures. And I
make
did warn
of that?
people about this, and this would be a problem.
I'm not sure I entirely followed it, but
Well, I didn't really, yeah.
Yeah, but I do think that's an issue. I also think that the voter engagement thing is a bit of an issue with the sample as well.
Okay, so it's a random sample, so there's no issue with engagement. So we start off with a representative sample.
But you've got 1.2% saying that they didn't vote in last year's referendum, and a further 10.6% saying that they can't remember. Only 12.5% saying that they did not vote in 2015.
All right.
Well, that's
In your sample,
but that's because people
which would suggest to me, and I think you.
All right,
many
let me
more
ask you
people
this
who'd
before we
watched
get lost
watched
into
the debate
the
as well than actually
interstices
have, so.
of these statistics here. Let me just ask you this. Why is there such a disconnect between what party activists on the left and the right are reporting from the Midlands and the North and the opinion polls?
Yep.
Because they're, including Labour, are more gloomy about Labour than the polls, which are actually rather good for them.
I think that is two things. One is small data rather than big data, and you know, I would say this, wouldn't I? But I do think small data gives you a nuance that you don't get out of the big data. It's also about how the votes are distributed. So even if all those young people do vote, they are tending to vote in places that aren't so helpful to Labour, universities,
because they're already going to win.
Sorry?
Because they're already going to win.
Yes, exactly.
Look, we're running out of time.
That's the issue.
And we'll want to have you both back, of course, once we know the result. But what do you think the result will be?
I think a comfortable win for the Conservatives.
All right, and you, your new poll tonight.
Well, we'll update you poll tonight, but on the current basis, no overall majority.
Got you. Okay. Well, only one of you can be right, so we'll see which one it is.
We'll see.
I've been getting away with it all